Hello again, it's Nick Walters with Easy Grants, and I'm tickled to death to get back and convey with you some of the ideas I have for Nick's picks for the week of December 27th. Every day on social media, we post what's called Nick's picks, which are kind of my favorite grant of the day to really help the community at large and other folks to know about some of the grant opportunities that are out there. So here's a rundown of what the grants of the day will be for this week of the week of December 27th. Our first one comes from Chipotle and Earth Force, Chipotle, the restaurant chain, who are looking for a sustainability challenge for young people ages 8 to 18. The idea is how they can create an action plan that really does something along the ideas of more sustainable food systems. And so the grants will pay between $500 and $1,000 to actually implement these plans. You've got until January 31st of 2022 to submit these applications. In addition to that, after the plans are approved, there's an additional funds that are available to actually document what they're calling their action stories. So if you have the plan and you create the plan and then you document in some sort of a way, it could be a video, it could be photographs, pictures on social media, however it is you want to do it. And then as you document what you do, then they also are going to have some prizes that will go even higher and greater than that, which they're going to have like $1,000 prizes and another set of $500 prizes. And you've got until March to pull that off. So if you want to know more about the Chipotle and Earth Force Sustainability Challenge specific for young people ages 8 to 18, go back to our website at easygrants.us, click on that big blue button that says Nick's Picks, and you'll learn more about it. Our next one comes from the Terra Foundation for American Art. They have research travel grants, primarily for doctoral, postdoctoral, and senior scholars in the United States who would take American art and American, which can be all kinds of parts of American art, but then how do you take that and integrate that into a foreign setting? How would you take what you know about American art and take it to other parts of the world? Well, they've got monies to be able to pay for that. The monies ranges anywhere between $6,000 and $9,000. Of course, all this is COVID contingent, that flying can actually take place to go to these other countries. They have different dollar amounts depending on where in the world that you would like to be able to go and to do the scholarly work and to share and work more with those out of the U.S. Venues and places for you to learn more about what their art does there for them. So you've got until the 15th of January to be able to put this application in. You will be able to learn all about this particular Terra Foundation for American Art Research Travel Grant by going to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on that big blue button and learning a heck of a lot more about it. Our next one comes from the Spencer Foundation. It has a January 26th deadline, and this is for research grants and education. Now, you have to be affiliated with a college, a university, a nonprofit, a school district, or a nonprofit cultural institution in order to apply for it. They're looking for educational research that is really creative, that really has a whole lot of what they would call a deep dive inquiry into how education systems work. But it all needs to be within the world of education. The dollar amounts are between $125,000 up to $500,000. You could propose to go anywhere from 1 year to 5 years in this particular application. So the Spencer Foundation's research grants for education, find out all those details by going back to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on that big blue button, and learn more about the details of this particular foundation and what's involved in all of that. Hey, remember, even though we do grant writing all day long and we try to connect groups and nonprofits and individuals and businesses when can be to grant funding, one of the places where a lot of grant money is new now than it has been is through the federal government, through that one big portal that we call Grantsgov, where all of the federal grant money comes in. Every day, there are new grants that become available. And because of the big infrastructure bill, because of all of these billions of extra dollars that are coming to be put out in grant funds, many of them grant funds, then small businesses and minority-owned businesses and foreign corporations, foreign organizations, in addition to school districts and local governments and arts groups and community organizations, are now eligible for a bunch of money that they have not been eligible for before. So I've put together what I call a mini course. This is about 30 minutes where I actually train you how to walk through grants.gov, how to set it up so that it'll only take you 5 minutes a day or less to really figure out what are the new grants that have come available. So you can go back to our website at easygrants.us. Look for the big red button that says the grants.gov course. Click on that, learn all about it. The price is only $24.95, and you will immediately be able to jump on and start searching for grants. So our next one comes from of our grants for the day. Our next picks come from the Sidney Hillman Foundation, and this is for journalists, particularly those that are involved in investigative journalism. So it could be a book, it could be a magazine, it could be broadcast of some kind, like a documentary, a radio, a podcast. There are different prizes that they are giving, up to $5,000 for those in journalism that are actually involved in investigative journalism in particular. They like the idea around public policy as something that kind of floats their boat, that they're a little bit more interested in. You have until the 30th of January to be able to apply for these funds. This is one of those, it's a prize, but it's grant money, so it's cash, and you don't have to be a nonprofit. Obviously, you just got to be somebody that's involved in that space. Remember, there are funds and things like that that come available throughout the year. We talk about them here on the podcast as well. So our next one comes from the American Psychological Foundation. That one, American Psychological Foundation, is pretty active. They have a number of grants that they will do during the year. One is called their Division 37 Diane J. Willis Early Career Award. This is for a person who has finished their terminal degree, that they have not been in practice for longer than 10 years, and particularly if they focus on the mental health and well-being of children and families or youth. It's a $2,000 grant as a person who is fairly new to the field but is doing creative things. So January 31st is the deadline for that. Go back to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button that says Next Picks, and you'll be able to learn all about that particular grant/prize award that is coming from the American Psychological Foundation. The Indian Arts Research Center has a up to $3,000 a month stipend for 3 different types of fellowships for people to study art as it relates to Native American art. It could be some for anthropology or some other related disciplines to that, but it could be everything from sculpture, digital art, pottery, painting, basketry. And so it's a stipend to learn how to integrate more of Native American art. You do have to be related to an indigenous people group in North America, but that could be Canadian, it could be from the United States, or it could be from Mexico. But you can learn all about that with a January 15th deadline of the Indian Arts Research Center back at our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button called Next Picks, and you'll learn all about it. And our last one comes from the Science History Institute. Now, the Science History Institute is just that. They are interested in the history of science and how have different disciplines within science actually been cataloged and told about, and the history of various science disciplines. They're specifically looking for one for the history of chemistry. So with a January 15th deadline for that, there are a bunch of different levels of how they could use this for learning more about the history of chemistry and how you might actually work on projects like that. There are various fellowships that are going from $50,000 down to like $3,000 a month for a short-term fellowship. So without going into all of those details, you can go back to our website at easygrants.us, look for that big blue button called Nick's Picks, and learn all about these grants as well as others that that we will be talking about every week. Hey, keep doing what you're doing to make our communities a better place. Thanks. Until next time.